They came from across the sea, these pale-faced strangers. They arrived on shores that had known only peace, on lands that had cradled ancient cultures for generations. Driven by a hunger for gold, for land, for power, they saw not the vibrant tapestry of life that existed. They saw only opportunity, a wilderness ripe for the taking. A darkness had descended upon the shores of this new world, a darkness that bore the stench of greed and the promise of unimaginable suffering. The whispers started as rumors, tales carried by the wind, stories of men with skin like bleached bone who spoke in tongues unknown and carried weapons that spat fire. Their arrival was heralded by the cries of the gulls, their intentions masked by smiles that never reached their eyes. What they sought was not partnership, not understanding, but dominion. Their greed was a bottomless pit, their ambition a raging fire that would consume all in its path. They spoke of God, of spreading His word, but their actions betrayed a different gospel. This new world, this land of unspoiled beauty, was about to become a battleground. It would be a canvas painted with the blood of innocence, a testament to the insatiable hunger of empires. In the name of progress, in the name of civilization, a terrible sin was about to be committed. The echoes of their arrival would reverberate through history, a chilling reminder of the day innocence was lost and a people's fate was irrevocably sealed. The clash was as inevitable as the rising sun. On one side stood the Native Americans, their lives intertwined with the land, their spirits in harmony with nature. On the other, the Europeans, their hearts hardened by ambition, their hands itching for the spoils of conquest. What began as skirmishes escalated into full-blown war, the cries of battle tearing through once peaceful forests. Swords gleamed under the unforgiving sun, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder and blood. The Europeans, with their advanced weaponry and ruthless tactics, mowed down the Native Americans. Villages were razed, sacred grounds desecrated, the very fabric of their existence torn apart. Women and children were not spared, their screams a haunting symphony of despair that echoed through the trees. For the Native Americans, it was a fight for survival, a desperate attempt to stem the tide of this relentless invasion. They fought with the courage born of desperation, with the ferocity of those defending their very souls. But against the relentless onslaught of the Europeans, their resistance seemed futile, their hopes dwindling with each passing day. Their land, once a source of life and sustenance, was now a battleground stained with the blood of their ancestors. The whispers of their ancestors seemed to vanish in the wind, their pleas for peace drowned out by the roar of cannons and the clash of steel. The darkness had descended, casting a long, oppressive shadow over the land. The conquest was not only a physical one, but a biological war waged upon a people who had no defense. With the Europeans came a silent killer, an invisible enemy that decimated the Native American population with terrifying speed. Diseases brought from across the ocean ripped through their communities like wildfire. Smallpox, measles, influenza, names that struck terror into the hearts of the bravest warriors. These were diseases unknown to their land, and their bodies had no immunity against their wrath. Villages, once teeming with life, were transformed into ghost towns, the silence broken only by the groans of the dying and the lamentations of the bereaved. Entire generations were wiped out, their wisdom and traditions lost to the ravages of disease. The Europeans, with their arrogance, saw this plague as a sign from God, a testament to their divine right to rule. They failed to grasp the horrific irony, that they were not only the conquerors but also the harbingers of death. The land, once vibrant with the laughter of children, now echoed with the coughs of the sick and the cries of mourning. This biological warfare was perhaps the Europeans' most insidious weapon. It was a cruelty that knew no bounds, a slow and agonizing death that spared no one. The earth itself seemed to weep, the rivers running red with the blood of the dead, the forests echoing with the silence of a people on the brink of annihilation. Section 4. Words like dust, the breaking of promises. Treaties were signed, their words heavy with promises of peace and coexistence. But to the Europeans these agreements were mere pieces of paper, easily broken when it suited their needs. The ink on these documents was barely dry before the betrayals began. Land was stolen, treaties were violated, and the Native Americans were driven further and further away from their ancestral homes. Driven by their insatiable hunger for land and resources, the Europeans treated the Native Americans with utter contempt, their promises as empty as the wind. Each broken treaty was a wound in the heart of the Native American people, a testament to the Europeans' treachery. The pain of betrayal cut deep, eroding their trust and fueling their resistance. Their pleas for justice fell on deaf ears. The Europeans, blinded by greed, saw only what they sought to possess, their hearts deaf to the cries of the dispossessed. The once sacred bonds of trust were shattered, replaced by suspicion and animosity. The Native Americans were forced to confront a bitter truth. The Europeans were not partners in peace but invaders who sought to dominate and control. Section 5. Sparks of Defiance. The Unbroken Spirit. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the Native Americans never surrendered their hope. From the ashes of their shattered world they rose again and again, their spirits unbroken, their determination fueled by the memory of their ancestors and the love for their land. The resistance took many forms, each act of defiance a testament to their indomitable spirit. There were those who fought back with the fury of cornered animals, their bows and arrows a testament to their ancestral skills. They launched surprise attacks, melting back into the forests, their knowledge of the land their greatest weapon. Others resisted through resilience, clinging to their traditions, their languages, their stories, ensuring that their culture would not be extinguished. Each act of resistance, no matter how small, was a victory against despair, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. It was a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit, a refusal to be broken by the forces that sought to destroy them. Their fight was not only for themselves, but for the generations to come, a fight to preserve their heritage and keep the spirit of their ancestors alive. Section 6. Echoes of the Past, a Wound That Never Healed. The wounds inflicted during that era run deep, leaving scars on the American landscape and psyche that have yet to fully heal. The legacy of colonization continues to cast a long shadow over the present, a constant reminder of the injustices of the past. The forced removal from their ancestral lands, the systematic attempts to erase their culture, the discrimination and poverty that many Native American communities still face today, these are the enduring consequences of a history marked by violence and betrayal. The echoes of broken treaties, of stolen lands, of lives lost continue to resonate through generations. The struggle for recognition, for justice, for healing is a battle that continues to this day. Section 7. Lest we forget the importance of remembering. To understand the present, we must confront the ghosts of the past. The story of American colonization is not a tale confined to history books. It is a living narrative, its threads woven into the very fabric of our nation. By acknowledging the atrocities committed, by listening to the voices of those who were silenced, by honoring the resilience of those who resisted, we begin the long and arduous process of healing. We must remember not to dwell in the past, but to learn from it, to create a future where the mistakes of our ancestors are never repeated. Only then can we truly begin to heal the wounds of history and build a future based on justice, equality, and respect for all.